Hello, everybody. I want to start off by saying 75% of our population suffer from glossophobia. Who knows what that is? Anybody? Glossophobia, fear of public speaking. So I am in that 75%. But first off, I want to thank Chris and Clever Talks for having me. Like I said, my name is Perry Yee. I am 31 years old. I'm a former Navy SEAL. I did 6 years in the Navy, active duty. I graduated from BUDS class 262, and then went on to SEAL Team 7, where I served in Afghanistan back in 2009. Like Chris said, my story is, I'm not going to focus on my military career. I don't want to talk about training and BUDS. I'm sure everyone has seen the movies and heard the stories. BUDS sucks. Right? I knew going in it was going to suck. It was going to be the worst thing ever. Not really my breaking point because I was pretty prepared for it. My struggle was making the decision to leave the military. For other people in the military, if you're an IT guy, you're an electrician, you're a comms guy, you're a mechanic, it's, I think, a little easier for you to find a job on the outside. I mean, you have a skill set that's pretty translatable to the civilian world. Being in the SEAL teams, it was a little different. It was a little hard not having a relatable career other than, all I got was, you're perfect for law enforcement. And that's basically what I heard everywhere. I knew that I didn't want to be a cop. I didn't want to work security. So I was at a loss. I was at a big loss. When I got out back in 2011, so it's been 5 years now, when I got out, basically right then and there, my support system stopped. I mean, the military didn't do a great job with kind of providing me with the tools that I'm going to need on the outside. They didn't really prepare me for how hard that transition was going to be. So not being in the service anymore, I wasn't around that close group of people that I had that strong bond with. I'm originally from New Hampshire. My entire family's back there, so I didn't have a family support system either. I mean, they're great. I talk to my mom almost every single day on the phone. If I don't call for a couple days, she gets worried. What's her baby doing? But it was hard because I was alone. There's about, for an entire year, I spent in my home. One of the worst things that I did was I didn't have a plan. I got out and I said, you know what? I'm going to take a year to myself. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to relax. I just got out of the SEAL teams, and I'm going to take a year for myself. It was a bad idea, very, very bad idea, not having a plan. So what happened was I started going back to school. I realized that, again, school just wasn't for me. It's not something that I excelled at. So, what do I do? What is my mission? And I think that was really hard for me, was figuring out a goal, figuring out what I was going to do for the rest of my life. One of my biggest dreams was becoming a Navy SEAL, and now that was over. And one thing I didn't do was have other dreams. Usually some people have that big goal in life that they want to do, and when they accomplish it, it's the greatest thing ever. For me, I did it. I accomplished it. It's time to move on. I had no direction, no support, no direction. I started battling very heavily with depression. It was a very, very dark time for me. One thing that did help me tremendously was I got a dog. First off, I was alone. I ended up figuring, maybe I need some responsibility. I need some companionship. Get a dog. I have an awesome, beautiful Siberian Husky named Dexter, after my favorite serial killer. Right? Because that's healthy, having a favorite one. So actually, I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Johnson for what they do. The company that you guys have is phenomenal. I didn't have my little guy Walls on active duty, but he's been a lifesaver for me outside of the service. So thinking about what I want to do, it was just an ongoing battle that I had with myself every day. So then I figured out, okay, what am I good at? that was a tough question. Everyone's their own worst critic. And for me, it was, I'm not really good at anything. I didn't really excel anywhere. So what did I enjoy doing? I started there. What do I enjoy doing? And one thing that I found that I was good at was I was good at serving. I served in my country. That's one thing that I loved, I absolutely loved. That's the one thing I miss about being on active duty was being able to say, very proudly say that I served my country. What do I do now? I sit at home by myself, got no job, not in school, I got no friends, no family out here. It was hard for me. But so I figured out, how can I give back again? So I started looking for, I ended up getting some measly jobs here and there. I worked, my first job out of the military was with a competitor group. What they do is, for what I did with them is I put on the rock and roll marathons around the country, which was a great experience. I got to travel the country, see a lot of awesome cities, meet people from all over the country. But it wasn't for me. I went from being one of the most elite warriors in the world to setting up stages and putting up fences that people so that they don't get hurt when they're running. So it's time for me to move on again. So after that, I ended up working at a shooting range, thinking, okay, I get to work around guns, get to carry a gun at work. It's pretty awesome. One good thing about that is I was working with a lot of veterans. Made a lot of good friendships working there, but again, the job just wasn't for me. To be honest, I was basically like a glorified janitor. I was a custodian with a gun, and so it's hard to think sometimes that maybe I don't have a purpose. Maybe that was everyone has a path. Maybe I excelled and I lived my dream in my early 20s, and that was it. Maybe that was my peak, and it was a tough battle for me. Now I'm an instructor, one of Dave Maynard's instructors over at Warfighter Academy, and I'm very fortunate to be able to call that man my mentor. That's one thing that I think the first time I've had a fantastic mentor. It's something that I didn't really have in the military. Now that I think about it, but he spoke a little bit about what we do and we're a gunfighting school, so we do force-on-force gunfighting. So you're not at a range shooting live fire at targets that aren't going to shoot back at you. You actually learn the art of gunfighting. But we are open to the public. We work with civilians, from your stay-at-home mom to pastors, to concerned citizens, everyone and anybody. But being at Warfighter Academy has it gave me a purpose. It's now I'm able to serve my country again, and it's on a different scale, but I love what I do. It's the first time in 5 years that I love what I do. I get to be around like-minded people. Like you said before, all of our instructors are all combat vets, and so now I get that support systems back. The first time in 5 years I have that support system. I'm not going to call them my friends. They're my family now. They're my brothers and my sisters. But I think for me, I've been on a big high. I've been on a big high recently just because I found what I want to do in life, and that's to help the people of this country. That's what I think I was born to do, was to serve. So what I want to say is, I think it's great to have goals and great to have dreams, but I don't think a lot of people have more than one dream. And that's if I could go back and fix a lot in my days, was it's maybe there's more than just having that one dream. Why not? It's great to be great at something, but why not be great at other things? And I'm sure that there's plenty of people that have been through worse times than I have, but I'm hoping that myself and my company, that we can help fix that. I'm hoping that we can help support a lot of other people. Like Dave said before, we work with a lot of veterans, a lot of combat veterans, a lot of wounded warriors. It's been such a tremendous privilege to work with people who are worse off than I was. I mean, luckily for me, I didn't experience any casualties. I didn't lose any friends. I didn't lose any limbs. I haven't been shot. I mean, I've seen a lot of combat, but I was able to make it out okay. And it's been a tremendous and honorable feeling to be able to work with those people who I know need that support system. And I've been there. I know what it's like not to have it, and it's just been a privilege to work with a lot of these people that I wouldn't have been able to work with if I had stayed in the military. And there was a lot of times when I battled. I made the biggest mistake getting out of the military. Like, you hear this job security and you have that brotherhood, you get the camaraderie, but if I would have stayed in, if I would have re-enlisted or stayed in, I wouldn't be where I am today. And even though it took me 4.5 years to get there, just knowing that if you got to be persistent, you got to keep striving, you got to keep striving for more, and never settle. Never settle for something that that you're passionate about. But first step is finding that passion. And I think it's a reoccurring thing that you're going to hear tonight and that you have heard, but you got to find that passion. You got to find out what it is in life that you want to do. And I don't want to be cliche, but reaching for the stars and wanting to do what you love, no one's going to stop you. If you're obsessed with it, if you love it, no one's going to stop you. Your goals are your goals and your dreams. And I just encourage everyone to just look inside yourself and know that you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to. So thank you very, very much, everybody. Chris.